This past week, the global balance of power shifted dramatically. From a new Asian player entering the European battlefield to Europe building a literal drone wall, the world's fault lines are being redrawn. The IMF is warning of an impending financial storm. North Korea, once isolated, has now stepped directly onto the front lines of the Ukraine war. The European Union is fortifying its skies. And as if that weren't enough, the world's economy just got a blunt reality check. Welcome to Yesterday Geopolitical Angle, your intelligence briefing for the week that's redefining world politics. Forget headlines. This is what's really happening. The most shocking revelation this week came from Eastern Europe. North Korea's quiet but decisive move from arms supplier to combat participant. Reports confirm that thousands of North Korean personnel are now fighting alongside Russian forces in border regions like Kursk. It's the first deployment of North Korean troops overseas since the Vietnam War. And it changes everything. This isn't about soldiers, it's about strategy. North Korea has become Moscow's lifeline, supplying nearly 40% of Russia's ammunition and more than 100 ballistic missiles. In return, Moscow is reportedly sharing high-grade military technology with Pyongyang, possibly submarine components. If true, this could accelerate North Korea's nuclear modernization faster than anyone anticipated. The war is no longer European, it's global. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to worsen. The UN confirmed food deliveries remain far below survival thresholds. At the same time, Houthi rebels in Yemen escalated tensions by detaining UN staff. The UN's calls for their release remain unanswered. Diplomatically, the wave of Western recognition for Palestine is fracturing the UN itself. France, Canada, and the UK have broken from Washington's stance, reigniting debates over UN membership. And the US veto remains the last barrier. It's becoming clear that global unity on this issue is collapsing. Europe, too, is transforming. At the European Council's formal meeting this week, leaders approved an ambitious 360-degree security approach. At the center of it, the European Drone Wall, a multinational initiative to protect all EU borders against aerial incursions. The 19th sanctions package against Russia was also approved, targeting defense and tech networks, particularly those enabling weapons transfers to North Korea. But while Brussels projects strength, internal cracks are growing. In the Czech Republic, polls suggest a possible return of the populist ANO party, threatening to align Prague with Budapest and Bratislava's pro-Russia stance. France and the UK, meanwhile, face economic strain, ballooning debt, rising taxes, and voters losing patience. The IMF's latest World Economic Outlook gave the week's hardest truth. Growth projections are falling again. Global growth is now forecast at just 3.2% for 2025 and 3.1% for 2026. The message is simple. Protectionism is back, and it's costly. Tariffs, industrial subsidies, and export restrictions are reshaping global trade. Governments are trying to secure resources, especially critical minerals. And Saudi Arabia is emerging as a power broker, investing heavily in Africa to control the metals that power the modern world. It's not just economics, it's the next front in geopolitical warfare. Amid all the instability, one meeting offered a glimmer of cooperation, the IUCN World Conservation Congress. Global leaders adopted the Abu Dhabi call to action, acknowledging the triple planetary crisis, climate change, pollution, and biodiversity collapse, as an existential threat. For the first time, environmental stability is being framed as national security. But even as the planet burns, politics marches on. In northern Cyprus, elections brought Tufan Erhurman to power, while Argentina heads to a defining vote, one that could determine whether populism surges again in Latin America. It's been a week of transformation. North Korea enters the European war, Europe builds a drone wall, and the IMF warns the economy itself is cracking. The pieces are moving fast, and the next few weeks will define how this new world order takes shape. If you found this analysis valuable, hit like. It tells the algorithm this kind of content matters. Subscribe and turn on notifications for Yesterday Geopolitical Angle, where we break down the events shaping tomorrow's headlines every week. Which of this week's developments shocked you most? The Asian military surge, the new sanctions, or the IMF's global warning? Let us know in the comments. Stay curious, stay aware, and see you in the next briefing.